Let's go ahead and just start with some hinges. You're gonna bring your arms right out in front, so pull the hips back. Pull the ribs down, stomach in, and just reach those arms out, palms facing up. And then rise right back up to standing. Pull the elbows back a little bit. And just squeeze those shoulder blades towards each other. Get settled in here. Body and breath. Feel it out throughout this warm up. Go for 3 more of these. And then from there, you're gonna bring your feet in a little bit, bring your arms up, and you're just gonna reach up and back. So here, you really wanna feel some expansion through your rib cage. Feel a stretching through the abs, through the back, coming back to neutral. The eyes follow with the arms. Good. 2 more. And then from there, we're just gonna hinge it forward and just circle, small circles with the arms here. They don't need to move in the same direction. They need to alternate some directions. And we're trying to do some circles and not just swinging back and forth. From there, you're gonna come all the way down to the floor. Keep 1 foot forward, step 1 foot back. You can drop the knee down. Turn towards the front leg with the rotation, lifting that arm up. And then take that arm down and reach it underneath the stationary arm. And then bring it back to center, pull the hips back for a little hamstring stretch. So float forward into that lunge again. Lift the arm up, rotating towards that front leg. At this point, if you want to lift the back knee up, you can. Bring that arm down, reach it through the other arm, behind it, and then come back to center, drop the knee, pull the hips back for a nice little hamstring stretch. Let's go back through that one more time. So float forward, lift the knee if that works for you. Lift the arm, turning towards the front knee. Bring the arm down, reach behind the stationary arm. Come back to center, pull the hips back. You're gonna come forward, frame the foot with both hands, and then step that foot back, step the other foot forward. Drop the knee. Same thing, other side now, lift and turn. Release and reach behind the stationary arm. Bring it back to center, pull the hips back. And then float forward, curl the toe, lift the back knee. And rotate. Or bring it down, reach it behind the arm. Drop the knee, pull the hips back. And then we got 1 more, float it forward, lift the knee if that works, reach and rotate. Bring it under, reach and rotate. Center it, drop the knee, and float back for that hamstring stretch. From there, you're gonna come forward, step the foot back into plank. And then drop the hips down, walk your hands back to your feet, coming into a squat here. Just kind of move it around, heels can be up. Center it up, drop the heels, lift the hips, so you're in a forward fold now. Let your head hang heavy, looking behind you. Turn the head a little bit here. And then pull in at center, roll it all up. Coming up to standing, roll the shoulders a few times. And then let it go. All right, so we're gonna come down to the floor on all fours now. 4 exercises that we're gonna work through. Starting with the bird dog. So a weighted bird dog. You can do this with one arm, or one weight, or with 2 weights, one for each hand, or you can just kind of switch it between both. Whatever works. You're gonna go for 30 seconds. And you can begin. So ribs down, eyes just a little bit forward, try to flex the foot as you lengthen that leg. That means pointing or pulling the toes towards the shin. Long reach. And trying to feel some lightness in your arms here instead of just grinding everything down from the shoulders and the back into the hands and the wrists. Gently release. Get the weight out of the way. We're gonna come up for just a shoulder blade push-up. So high plank, spread the fingers out, and then just squeeze the back. And then spread the shoulder blades out. Squeeze them in, pull them out. So you should feel just a slight elevation and depression in the upper back as you do this. The rest of the core is super strong. Eyes just looking slightly forward towards the end of your mat. Feel that activation all across the shoulder blade area. And gently release. Coming all the way down on your stomach. Arms at your side with the palms up. Activate the legs and the glutes and just lift and lower the arms. Again, palms are facing the ceiling. And it's just the arms that are lifting. Again, a little backward here. Trying to slide the shoulders away from the ears. And then release from there. This time, you're staying down here on your stomach, but your arms come out to T for Superman. This time, everything lifts up. Arms, legs, chest. Squeeze the back, squeeze the glutes. Just lift and lower, nice and steady. Pull the stomach in as you go. Feel the lightness as you lift. And gently release. Take a little break. We're going to go through all of that again. This time with the bird dog, we're going to do a lateral raise. Again, you can use 1 weight or 2 weights. As the leg goes out, the opposite arm is lifting right out to the side, palms facing down. Okay? So you can go ahead and get started here. Again, trying to feel some lightness. Pressing through the heel to lift the leg. It's going to give the leg, the glute more length. Gently release. You're gonna take your weights with you this time if you choose. Keep them in your hands for this eye raise. So head down, legs down, but activated and lift. You're just lifting the arms. Let your forehead rest easy on your mat, or you can turn your head to the side. Lift and lower. If it feels too heavy or gets too heavy, just set the weights down. And gently release. Coming back up for the push-up. Big high plank here. And then just squeeze and release the back. Make those shoulder blades nice and mobile. So you feel them moving. Core cylinder, super strong, top to bottom, left to right, front and back. Head centered over the shoulders. Looking good. And then all the way back down to your stomach, no weights needed for Superman. And begin. Lift it off, squeeze. Should feel the whole backside of the body working here on that lift. And gently release. Great job. Take a break. I'm gonna go to our little shoulder steering loop with resistance loop just one time before we get into our main circuit. So go ahead, grab your band. You're gonna put it on the meaty part of your forearms. Arms out straight, palms facing in, and we're just rotating like you're kind of pulling back and forth on your steering wheel. The only thing that's moving is the arms when they're out straight in front of you. You don't drive with your hands on your steering wheel at 90 degrees. At least I'm assuming you don't. And gently release. All right, so you need a band, resistance band anchored up on something high. We're gonna do a face pull. And then we're gonna come down. We're gonna do a glute bridge with weight and with your feet elevated. On your Swiss ball preferably today, but you can use a bench or a stool, or you can just leave your feet on the floor, whatever strikes your fancy. And then we're gonna go back to the resistance band for a half kneeling single arm lat pull down. So we'll adjust the band a little bit when we get to that point. Okay, so face pull. My hand, palm is facing up, fingers are facing towards the ceiling. The band goes in between the thumb and the pointer finger with the fingers pointing up. You then close the grip, but if you were to open the grip, the fingers are pointing up. You do that with both hands and you step back. Your shoulders are a little bit internally rotated here. From there, you're pulling wide and high. It's called the face pull for a reason, because the focus is keeping the band pulled high. So it might not work to pull around your face depending on your setup, but I don't want you down here at your ribs, and I don't want your arms in at your ribs. So as you pull, those shoulders are externally rotating. That's great for posture correction. As you straighten and come back in, the shoulders are gonna rotate a little bit inward, but the shoulder blades still stay flat on the back. So let's go ahead, 40 seconds here. Support is on, arms out straight, pull in, and then straighten back out. So feel those shoulders open and kind of rotate out or back. And when you straighten and come forward, feel them come a little bit in. If you have your hand positioned correctly on the band, it should feel pretty natural, depending on your skeleton, of course. So go ahead and release. Let's get set up for the bridge, weighted bridge, feet elevated either on your ball or stool, or just leave them on the floor. Lift lower, make sure you hold that weight at your hips, especially if your feet are elevated, keeping a nice bent knee here. A little bit of a stability challenge if you're using the ball. You should feel some really good fire on the back side of the body. And gently release. You're going to turn yourself over back to your band in a half kneeling position. Just grab both handles, matching up with the kneeling leg, and then you just pull. You should have tension on the whole time. If using both handles is too heavy, just thread one handle through the other, make one long strand, and back up further. With this one, the arm does come along the side. You can still rotate the palm down, which rotates that arm as you come out. Rotating the hand in, so it's facing the side of the body as you pull. All right, let's go right over to the second side. Switch your half kneeling stance and begin. Nice and tall here, nice and sturdy. Bring that elbow past your back, straightening right out. And gently release. Take a little break. If you need to make any adjustments to any of your equipment, do so. You can grab a drink. I'm going to put a little bit more space between each exercise. A little bit more time on the transitions. All right, good first round. We're going to do 2 more. So let's get ready for that face pull. So again, band in between the thumb and the pointer fingers, or fingers pointing up, and then just close down on that band. Again, it should feel like a pretty natural movement. So go right ahead, pull back, listen high, straighten it out. Elbows lift, you're not pulling to your sternum, you're not pulling to your nose. The face pull means you're pulling to the outside of your face. Elbows coming wide, high, everything away. Or of course, you can do it however you want to, despite what good technique is. And release. Come down. Get ready for the bridge with your feet up. Whatever option you're choosing here. And go ahead. Try to keep the toes pointing right up to the ceiling. And release. All right, let's come back to the band. A little bit further back this time, we're gonna add a little bit of a hinge to this move as you start. So you're gonna start with a slight hinge. As you pull, you come up nice and upright. As you bring it back out, slight hinge. So with the free arm, if you're resting it on your leg, make sure you're just resting it and not unintentionally pressing down into it. Hinge forward as you reach, come upright as you pull. Looking good. Do one more. And then set it up on the second side. So we start forward again, palm down. And go. Reaching out and up. So if your band is staying pretty low, you want to just back yourself up a little bit. Of course, depending on how high your ankle is to start with. And release. Good work. Take a break. We've got one more round of these. All right, let's get right after it with the face pull. Again, elbows go wide, band goes wide. It's tracking at shoulder or face height. Go right ahead. Back to those shoulders open. Let them rotate inward as you come out. There can be a little bit of arm rotation there as you do that. Same as you pull out. Squeeze that back. Feel some good core work here. Depending on that resistance, more with more resistance, less with less resistance, but everything is strong. So go ahead, release, get ready for your bridge. Just begin whenever you're ready with the bridge. Lift and lower. And switch, back to the half feeling pull down again. Use that hinge. And if you want to add a little rotation this time, you can. You're rotating away from the front knee, of course. You should be pulling with the arm of the kneeling leg. And release, switch to the other side. Get yourself set up. Kneeling position, nice and in line, get a little bit long in the torso here, and you can go ahead. And gently release. All right, so take a break. We are done with the band, so if you wanna get rid of that, you can. For this next round, we're gonna start with a deadlift. It's got a little bit of rotation to it. Kettlebell is a great fit. For that move. We're gonna be doing a chest press after that, where we're cycling the arms. So one arm is moving up, one arm is moving down. So they're going in opposite directions throughout. And then from there, we're gonna come on up. We're gonna be doing a squat with an overhead press. The first set, we're just gonna do one arm at a time. So you wanna make sure you have a weight that you can press with ease over your head for that one. That will have a march with it as well when we come up out of the squat into the press. All right, so let's get it started with the deadlift. So you're gonna have a little bit of a kickstand with this deadlift. So you're stepping one foot back just slightly. It's a pretty small stance here. As you hinge, you're slightly rotating over the leg you're deadlifting, like you're bringing it down right over the foot, and then coming right back to center on the way up. All right, so go right ahead here. So with the kickstand, try to keep the weight pretty light in that kickstand leg. Tuck the chin in. Pull the ribs down. Stomach strong. So you're feeling really all of the isolation on that standing leg. And gently release, take a little pause. And then set the kickstand up. Again, on the other leg. Pull everything in and down, and go. Back. With the hip hinge, you lower as the hips are moving back. There's a certain point where you won't feel the hips pulling back anymore. That's the point where you really don't need to try and lower anymore. I mean, if you can keep your back stabilization and your core stabilization, by all means. Otherwise, oftentimes it's just gonna go to the low back. So go ahead and release. Let's move down to the floor. Get into your chest press position. But bring one weight down. And now go ahead. One arm is going up and the other is going down. Torso is nice and steady here. You're resisting that rotation. With the weights moving in opposite directions. Let those arms come just grazing your mat. Not coming into a full rest on the floor as you lower. And gently release. Okay, one weight up in sort of that rack position, otherwise a squat stance, free arm out to the side. Probably a little bit narrower for the squat. Come up, press, march the opposite leg. And down. So as you lift the leg, as you press the arm, feel all that work happening from the core. Try to keep nice alignment as the knee lifts. And switch. Put the weight in the other arm. And go ahead here. Last one. And release. Awesome, take a break. So if you have one shoulder that bugs you or just seems like it doesn't move as well as the other, doing one side at a time is helpful to improve function. So take a break. So on the next set with that particular exercise, if it works and feels good for you, you can do both arms at one time, but you can still have the option to do one arm at a time. The key is to always move well without having to contort your body or find some compensation pattern to allow your arms to move well overhead. That really goes for any exercise, but it's always very glaring with the overhead press. All right, so let's get ready. We're starting with the kickstand deadlift again with that rotation. So go ahead. Light kickstand on that back leg, hinge, slight rotation. Keep the chin pulled in, so your gaze is still a little forward, but it's just a slight forward. You're not trying to look across the room. Go for one more. And then go ahead, shake it out and set it up on the second side now. Take that leg back. Again, it's not a big stance. And go. Hinge and rotate. Core strong. And release. All right, let's come down to the floor, getting ready for the cycle press. If you want to change it to a close press, by all means you can do that. Just start with one arm down. And begin. Obviously for the close press, or maybe it's not obvious, it doesn't need to be obvious, but the palms are turned in towards each other. And the lowering arm comes closer to the body. Using the smaller upper body muscles for this close press versus the chest press. Still resisting rotation, even more so. Awesome, and release. Let's get ready for the chest press with the squat and the march, or the overhead press, excuse me. So you can do this with one weight, with both arms, two weights with both arms, or just one arm at a time. So if you're doing both weights, you're alternating the march. Squat, as you come out of the squat, we press and we lift the knee. You can face more in at a neutral position, or you can do more of that military press with the hands wide. And gently release. Awesome. All right, take a break, you guys. We've got one more round. All right, let's get ready. So we've got the deadlift first. Go ahead and start once you're ready. Push back. Core is braced. And the weight on that kickstand leg is light. That front stationary foot really feel anchored through the whole foot, including the toes. And release, shake it out. Reset the position. Take the other leg back to the kickstand. And then go ahead when you're ready. Last time with all these exercises, so go all in here. And release. All right, let's come down to the floor. Get ready for your press. Keep one arm down to start, one arm starts up. And then they both move. Go ahead. Ribs down, pull the hips up, feel that center nice and stable, resisting rotation. And release. Coming up, Finish it with our squat overhead press march. So you really don't want your feet too wide for the squat. And begin. Good. Wing overhead is kind of like a double-edged sword. You don't need to do it with super heavy weight. In fact, that's really not encouraged, not for me anyway. But if you continuously just keep your arms at your side or never get above 90, things get a little sticky and a little bit more immovable. And release. So you do want to make sure that you're getting your arms overhead on a regular basis. Stretching and mobility wise. All right, take a quick break. We've got a quick finish of a wall sit. And then we'll cool it down a little bit. All right, so find a piece of wall. You're gonna lean back against it. And then you want to slide down, coming as close to 90 degrees as you can, with your shoulders back, your stomach drawn in. And just get into a nice meditative state here. Grounding down through your feet, through your toes. Breathe nice and steady. You're more than halfway there. And gently release. Come away. Excellent work. All right. Let's go right into a quad stretch here, heel to butt. Or you can just prop your foot up on something behind you. To do that, just make sure you get a little leverage, press forward. Go ahead and switch to the other leg. And let's go ahead and gently release there. Let's bring one arm across the front of the body. And just above that elbow. Take that arm, bring it up and over, drop the hand down behind you, hold the elbow. It's hard to hold the elbow without pressing the head forward, then just press back on the arm. Go ahead and release, switch to the other side. Bring it up and over. Give yourself a nice pat on the back if you didn't do it with the first arm. And go ahead, release there, take a nice big inhale, reach up, reach a little bit back. And then exhale down. Awesome job.